Good.
Okay, I'm Cassandra Bobaviches. This is Ryan Olson, Jeremy Runkle, and Lindsay Krause, and we're doing the presentation on Great Harvest Bread Company. So firstly, looking at their mission statement, so be loose and have fun, make phenomenal bread, run fast to serve others, and give generously. So they've got a pretty long mission statement and definitely tells a lot about their business. So looking at just the first one, be loose and have fun. They're very active when they're working. You can definitely, if you ever go there, you'll see they're very friendly. And then bake phenomenal bread. Obviously, that's kind of just the whole purpose of their business too. That was actually one of their goals, is just to provide great bread for the people of Fairbanks. Run fast to serve others. So kind of going back to the friendly environment and just they're really great for customer service as well, and they're not the kind, he was actually talking to us about one in his presentation, Eric Cray here, about how they're not one that when you come up, they're not just going to ignore you, they're going to talk to you, they're going to address you as soon as you walk in the door, and give generously. They have a lot of community involvement, and if you've ever been there, you know how big their samples are, so you'll know how generous they really are. And they also work a lot in the community, so they're definitely good there. And looking to their background, so they opened summer of 2012. They actually just had their anniversary this summer. And so owners are Eric and Tricia Cray, and Eric is here today, and Steve and Alicia Sunborn. So it all started with a goal. Originally, before opening their business, they had a goal to, first of all, own a community-based business. As I said before, they're really involved in the community and trying to give back, and also to provide nutritious bread for the people of Fairbanks. And now that they've opened up their branch, they're a loose franchise, so that really means that they still get the great recipes of Great Harvest Bread Company that everybody knows and loves, but they also get to be able to run their business the way they want to better provide for Alaskans. So that really helps. They're also expanding to help with their customer base, and we're hoping to be able to help them find their kind of new target markets and expand that market. So the expansion is really a great idea and really can help their business out a lot, we think. And so we're just looking at who is their market now, and that's something we're also going to talk about through the rest of the presentation. And I will hand it over to Ryan.
So as Cassie mentioned, our goal was basically to find potential new target markets that were yet untapped here in Fairbanks. So in order to do that, we need to first look at who they currently serve. Kind of the standard target market right now in their customer base is middle-aged, college-educated women who are health conscious and community-driven. And after Cassie just talking about how it's very healthy bread, they work with local businesses, this is kind of natural that that's their initial customer base. So what we're looking to get into is who in Fairbanks does not know about Great Harvest Bread Company, and how can we reach them so that they will learn more and they'll know that there's not just bread products, there's actually soups, salads, catering, all sorts of other services. And so when we talked with Eric Cray, we learned that a potential target market that doesn't know much about Great Harvest Bread Company are men, military, and college students. And that's just kind of what we were hypothesizing. So we weren't certain yet, and so our job was to go and provide surveys and see if this was truly the case, and if they didn't know about Great Harvest Bread Company, how we could reach them so that they could learn about it and potentially go and become the new customer base for the business. So just to give you an idea of why we selected these three populations out of Fairbanks is because they make up a really big portion of the Fairbanks community. In 2012, the United States Census Bureau found out that the Fairbanks population was over 100,000 people, and of that, 54% were male. I mean, that's no surprise. Everyone says there's more men in Alaska anyways. But you can see that's a huge portion of Fairbanks that is not currently being targeted, that could potentially be customers for Great Harvest Bread Company. In addition, about 35% of the population are either students in the undergraduate programs or in the graduate programs. So that's another over 1/3 of the community that also potentially do not know about Great Harvest Bread Company. And finally, about 8.2% are involved with the military and are in the armed forces, and that doesn't include their spouses or relatives or anything like that. So if you include them as well, that's about 45% of the community that potentially do not know about Great Harvest Bread Company and could be new customers that would enjoy the bread and the services that they provide. So for the current target market, ways that Great Harvest Bread Company are putting word out about their products is mostly undifferentiated marketing, or in other words, mass marketing. So through their social website, it's kind of just, it's one picture saying, here's our new product. And it's put out to all of Fairbanks. They're not necessarily targeting college students, they're targeting military or targeting women. This is just kind of what they provide. So some other ideas that we had that might also help with the marketing would be looking at the radio, television, social media, and by social media you already use Facebook, but potentially adding more posts or specifically targeting people who are involved in UAF programs or community or something like that. So that was kind of the two main focuses of our survey. One, are men, military, and students, are they aware of Great Harvest Bread Company? Have they been to Great Harvest Bread Company? And then two, if they haven't, what are some ways that we could potentially advertise to them? So in order to find out those answers, we created a survey and we administered it to 90 respondents, 30 of which were military affiliated, 30 UAF students, and 30 with no affiliation at all. In order to get those particular populations, we went to places around the community: Fort Wainwright, College Pizzeria, College Coffee House, and then the UAF campus. And that way there's just a high population of those specific people that we were interested in talking to. And the survey was voluntary, so we would walk up and say, hey, do you mind taking this survey? And you get this little coupon with cookie voucher, and that was the way that we were able to get the answers that we needed. So to tell you a little bit more about the answers that we found, Jeremy is going to talk about our results.
Jeremy, I'm going to go over the results of the findings of the survey. The first question we're going to hit here is, did you know there is a Great Harvest company in Fairbanks? There was 27% out of the 30 that knew. There was 33% out of the 30 that knew in the military, and there was 60% that would neither affiliated with the military or students. These are probably the older crowd and have been over there and got it before. The other question that we were focused on was going to be, have they visited Great Harvest Bread Company? And out of the military, it was 17% visited, with 23% of the students that visited, and 23 that were not affiliated with either military or the civilian. So you can see that's a drastic, you can see where we're at on that one. And with the media, the other thing we focused on was the media, how they're getting their media to them. As we speculated, newspapers are way down. Word of mouth is a little bit better. Television, a little bit better. But you can see with the younger masses, the younger people, it's going to be the Facebooks and the emails are going to be the one that gets them. So that is the end of mine. And with that said, Lindsay.
Alright, so next we have our SWOT analysis, where the strengths and weaknesses are the internal part, and the opportunities and threats are the external part of the business. So for our strengths, we have their generosity, as we've talked about. Walk in, they're all, hey, how are you doing? What kind of slice of bread do you want? You get this huge slice, they're all nice, and you just feel welcome to go in there anytime. And then their community involvement, they're going out to events, giving away, their bread at, they went to Roast and Boast and all different things that are going out in the community. And then also healthy options. They're not just bread, they have their salads or their sandwiches and soups and other things that people enjoy. So some weaknesses to this is just lack of brand presence, as we saw in the results from the survey, there's still people that don't know about it, and then people that do know about it that still haven't been in. And so just, getting their name out there more. And also limited shelf life for their bread. You have to eat it up, and maybe some people don't want that, don't want to have to freeze it and take it out, wait for it to thaw. And so then another one is their narrow marketing plan. They're kind of, Facebook's is a big one, but they're kind of just, using that and kind of all coming together to do marketing, not kind of having one person specialize in that area, kind of, sort of, if that. And then the last one is just lack of also product awareness. Great Harvest bread, if you would ask anyone from the survey, they all know, or guess, bread is what they sell. A lot of people didn't know that they had soups and salads or cookies and all the other stuff that they have in there besides bread. So also getting that name out, knowing that it's not just bread, that there's a bunch of other things besides bread in here, that you can go here for lunch and eat lunch and not just buy a loaf of bread in the store. So now opportunities. With the health trend, again, people knowing that there's salads there. If they think, oh, I don't eat bread, I shouldn't stop in here, but knowing that there is other things that are healthy with the health trend that people are on now, eating healthy. And then also visiting local sporting events like UAF events or Ice Dogs games. They said there's lots of military at these Ice Dog games, and so that's a big population that doesn't know about it. So kind of getting them out and knowing about Great Harvest bread from there. And then also with the growing population, like we also said, Fairbanks is continuing to grow. Lots of new people are coming up here, and that's a whole bunch of people that are either don't know about it, don't know it's in Fairbanks, and you can continue to market to these new people that are always continuing to come up here, telling them, where this Great Harvest location is. And so then lastly, we have the threats. Local competition could be a threat. There's Lulu's and burgers out there. They're not quite the same, but they're, they have bagels, but also Lulu's is on the opposite side of Great Harvest, so it could also just be location, that is close to campus. Maybe that's why the campus, student population doesn't know about Great Harvest as much, because they're on the other side of town, and if they don't have a car, they don't have much way of going out and seeing what is out on the other side of town. And also slow economy. People, maybe they just don't want to spend, however much on a loaf of bread when they can go to Fred's and get, cheap gross bread there instead of this good healthy bread, And new diet trends. If people don't know that there's other products at Great Harvest, like we were saying, people just think it's bread. So if they're on a no-carb diet, they're not going to want to stop in, because they'll just tempt them to eat carbs when that's not what they are wanting to be doing. So just, getting people to know what's in there to get everyone to come in, whether it's a health cake or diet or whatever they have. And so implementations, community involvement, they do a lot of this already. They're out at everything, but if they go to hockey games, maybe ride on the Zamboni around. They, like we said, giveaways, the Ice Dogs games. Also local runs, having booths set up at the end with bread, people coming across the finish lines. And then also the home shows, having your booth set up, giving away bread, getting people in to sign their email down, because email was also a big one that we saw from our survey results. So to be able to have that effective as marketing, they need to first get their email, so you can email to them and market to them. So just getting everyone's email and getting people's email. And also maybe we said going to high school events that are elementary schools. That's kind of the family population, which you already have, but just maybe a new idea out there and do something different. And then also radio ads. That was, as we saw from the survey, kind of a bigger part of how people get their media. So maybe looking into that, not necessarily doing it, but kind of seeing how that would work. And then Facebook, keep doing that. It's a big one. Lots of people get their information from Facebook, so just keep going on the Facebook, updating posts, getting back to people when they do, ask questions or comment right away, so they'll keep within your company. So now for the conclusion from this.
So overall, looking at our results, we had a lot of different information. Overall, when you looked at the graph, you saw mainly email and Facebook were the two top ones for the overall survey. However, there's also the differences between those. I know radio was a bigger one for those that weren't affiliated, but not so much for the other ones. So that's a good point to look at as well. We found just different results there, and it's a good way to look at it for different marketing parts. And now with the conclusion also, basically what we saw throughout all of our research was that potential markets just are unaware of things like their location. As far as I know he had talked about your signage, that it's also it's hard to do things in that location, so that might be also problematic. And so it's kind of difficult about trying to even get people to know where you're at. And then also just the brand of hearing the name Great Harvest Bread Company and knowing it's in Alaska, and also the products, which was discussed a lot. Just, okay, you can go there for a salad too if you're not a bread fan. And then we also figured it would be a good avenue is to market through the community involvement. So like the runs, which I believe, you already do that. And then also like the hockey games, we thought were a great idea for both men and families. That really would reach a lot. So basically just being really more involved in the community and trying to reach your target market through community aspects. And then we found a little bit through media as well, especially if you look back to the graph. We thought basically radio advertisements was a big one, as well as just more Facebook posts. There's already a great amount of marketing on Facebook, so I definitely commend Great Harvest Bread Company for that. But also you maybe doing more, just more differentiated marketing on Facebook. I know you can do like a little side panels, so even that would be a really great tactic. But overall, these are what we found throughout our research, and thank you all for coming.